Welcome back to Dreamin' Dragons. You want a fruit? You've got a fruit. You've put in the effort, you've successfully pollinated your flower, you've waited around for what seems like ages. Now your stomach's rumbling and you want that bad boy and you want it now. Today we're covering my top 3 tips for when it's dessert time for our dragon fruit, plus a few other cheeky tips to consider at the end, so stick around for those too. Top tip number 1. We're going to start off with the good old wiggle test. What we're looking for here is that nice loose tooth feel with our fruit. Some looseness on the vine to let us freely wiggle up and down, a bit from side to side, and a touch of rotation is a good sign your fruit's fired up and ready to go. Here's one that isn't quite right to go just yet, and as you can see, a little bit of a wiggle, but much more restricted in its movements. Top tip 2. We're looking for some cheeky splitting and cracking, particularly around the end of our fruit where our flower was attached. Here's a fruit with early signs of stress fracture. You can see some parting of the skin. In another day or two, you'll see this just start to burst, and you want to snap him off just around the same time as you see this fault line grow. Subtle visibility of the flesh below, whether that's purple, pink, white, or whatever, is when your fruit's just about optimal growth and flavour. Any longer, like this guy here, or this one here, and you're leaving our fruity flesh open and exposed to the elements, and there's a good chance some form of wildlife will be tucking into it before you do. Top tip 3. Squeeze time. Paul at Rare Dragon Fruit describes it as the feel of a well-done steak. I can't recall the last time I've had a steak any more cooked than medium rare, so can't relate to that one. But when your fruit's good to go, give them a bit of a squeeze and you'll feel some give. Not so much that you pulverize the fruit below, but a bit of a stress ball sensation and you should be feeling stress-free. If you try this on an unripe fruit, you'll find it's dense and firm. Trust me, you'll be able to feel the difference. And here are our bonus bits tucked on the end. Colour. I tend to ignore colour mostly. If your fruit's growing in the shade, may not colour up as much. The colour can change at different speeds during different weather, and there's plenty of varieties that have inconsistent colour at the best of times. I've picked bright magenta fruit and they've tasted underdone, and I've picked some on the greener side and they've tasted cracking. The flappy bits. For some varieties, you'll notice our little flappy parts here start to dry out when our fruit's just about good to go. You'll notice some change colour from one to another, and some even change their curl or curvature. Every variety will present slightly differently. The spikes. With our spikier friends, you'll notice the spikes on the outside become loose when our fruit's golden and good to go, and they'll brush off easily. Happy days! The best part of all of this is that if you botch the timing on picking your fruit, your plant's healthy to start with, and if you keep up the good work, you'll have plenty more in the future. Oh, yes. And one of the best ways of keeping your plant roaring down that road to dragon fruity glory is jumping on the Dreamin' Dragons bandwagon. A cheeky thumbs up below and subscribing if you haven't already is a surefire way of dragon fruity overload.